It figures it's up about both of them.
Yeah,
Sure.
because he's talking about
Yeah.
purchase price, I think, for both of them.
Yeah. Hi, Art.
Hello.
Been okay, Art?
Yeah.
I'm doing pretty good.
But I'm sure that will digest the next time.
Okay.
I feel like I'm just getting lower and lower. I think they've done it to
Is
me.
somebody playing trick on you?
That happens as we age. We do get lower.
Lower and lower. But I think it's happening. It's premature this time.
Yeah.
Roll call.
Here.
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 Here. Everybody's present. Okay.
Yep. Sorry, it's taking up real space.
Yeah, I need a motion to amend the agenda if I could.
I make a motion in the agenda.
Second. Motion by Billy and Noel second, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Has everybody had a chance to read the minutes?
Yes.
Yes. Any changes or anything that we'll accept them as presented then? We're going to jump down to Peggy on the financial report.
In your financial report there, we ended the month of June at this point at a little over 2 million, 2.2. Still have, since it's our end of the year, we're gonna have a lot of adjustments that'll be going on, so that number probably will, fluctuate a little bit, but for the most part, in that range. And we're still trying to keep those reserve fund goals there, and just see how it goes. We'll have to see as we get into the crux of things. It's like, keep looking at some of the numbers thinking, but I'm just gonna hold tight, maybe it'll be good. And then by the next meeting, I hope to have the 6-month report that I do and publish in the paper, but I don't have enough information yet to complete that report. So.
I actually think everybody on council would be happy if we could have half of that at the end of the year still in the reserve. So that would be, I think it'd be a good, a big accomplishment if we could just, it'd be great if we keep it all.
Well, it'd be great. I'm gonna try.
But anyway, did you want to explain anything on the transfer or anything like that, or just?
Well, we
that
did
talked about?
transfer, right there at the end of the month, we did transfer 125,000, 100 over to general and 25 over to park. We took that money out of the water sewer fund, just to try to keep those funds above the -0 there. But still, even with that, we've transferred none out of electric this past year. And I think, if I remember correctly, we've only transferred about 250,000 this year, which is significantly lower than what we've done in the past. So, of course, when the auditors come, they may rearrange a few things, but so far, it's looking like we're at least doing better.
Suzanne, we got a ordinance reading, conflict of interest ordinance.
Ordinance number 1052 is an ordinance of the City of Avon, Missouri to readopt ordinance number 998 to disclose potential conflicts of interest and substantial interest for certain officials.
This is an ordinance that we pass it every 2 years, right? So anyway, it's just a formality.
We've missed it last year or something.
I was thinking, but anyway, it's every 2 years, so we have a motion to.
Motion to approve ordinance 1052.
Okay, do we have a second on that?
I'll second the motion.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Second reading on it.
Second reading. Ordinance 1052, an ordinance of the City of Avon, Missouri to readopt ordinance number 998 to disclose potential conflicts of interest and substantial interest for certain officials.
Motion to accept
So make the motion on the second reading.
Stan, I have a second on that.
I'll second that motion.
Bill, Billy, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, do the aldermen have any comments or anything they want to make at this time? No?
No.
Well, we had advertised for bids for the fire department, we didn't see none, not one bid that we received, so we'll pursue that a little farther, I guess.
Wow.
Times are good,
The
nobody
times
looking
are
for
great.
work, so.
Keep telling us that.
Yeah,
Must be.
kind of figured we'd get at least one or two bids on it, but didn't get not one bid that we get on that. So I guess everybody's busy. I wanted to talk to you about the treatment plant. Stephen had originally put in, we got 3 filters, and I'm talking about they're big sand filters. Anyway, Stephen had put in for 2, to replace 2, and I'm gonna just shoot round figures out there, wasn't quite $250,000 for the 2 filters, but anyway, that's what he was, more in the neighborhood of 230, I believe, is closer. But anyway, I looked over a report that we'd had from Carl Brown and seen some figures on there of, and we'll talk about that report a little bit later, briefly. But anyway, I noticed on there there'd be 2 bond issues paid off in 2023, which is 3 years from right now. And that'll free up, do you remember about how much, was it 280?
I think so.
Around $280,000. And anyway, what I would recommend the board doing now is, and I talked to Stephen and he thought we could get by with that, is replacing 1 now, and then when we get these bonds paid off in 3 years, that'll free up enough money, we can replace the other 2. And then in the near future, we've got a truck that we're gonna have to replace. So if we could go ahead and maybe come up with the money to do one filter this year, is what I would recommend. And what they did, they come down and they tested these filters to see how they were working. And what they did is they took like a square, I'll say a 1-foot square, and they took a 5-gallon bucket of water and they poured in that square. And if that filter is working properly, that water will filter through the sand and out in 30 seconds. So they took a 5-gallon bucket in our filters, dumped it in there, and it took, in 5 minutes, there was still a little bit of water in the sand, so they're not working as good as they ought to. The only time we have big issues with that are in early spring and late, when we have a lot of rainfall and there's a lot of runoff. But anyway, if we can get that 1, he seemed to think we could, if we could get that 1 done now, that it's gonna make a third of the system work properly. So that's what I would recommend, and we get some firm numbers on that. And this is just 1 bid, and he's trying to get 2 more. So I would recommend that when we get some numbers together, to go ahead and try to replace 1 of the filters at this year, this budget year 2020. And so that's what I would propose. And do you have any other questions on?
Yeah, if we talk about coming up with 112, I guess we could do that without adding to the bond and
Yeah.
all.
Right, yeah, we went ahead and budgeted 250 in there in case we had to do the 2
Okay, I
filters.
remember talking.
So this would be significant.
And that's a good question, because
Yeah, it is.
the fact, when we put the 250 in, I wasn't aware and just hadn't thought about this other money, 280,000 being freed up in 3 years. So that's the reason we decided let's look at this a little different angle, and I really believe that we can get by in a much better shape than we are now. So if we replace one, and financially, we'll be in a lot better shape 3 years, and we can get the other two, and possibly even the truck at that time. But that's what I would entertain. Let's budget, or I'd entertain a motion for replacing one of the filters this fiscal year 2020. And actually, it's this summer, in the heat of the year, if we could get it scheduled, would be the best time to get it done, because of the fact our flow is down. So
Do you want to wait until the other bids come in and approve that bid, or
We
just
could-
approve this
we
and then
could,
go with the lower
we
bid?
could wait either.
How do they want to do it?
When do you think those would come in? Probably.
Well, I was hoping they'd be in today, but we can go either way. This is, I guess I could, would you prefer I wait, or let's see, I mean,
That's kind of something we're gonna have to do, and we've got a
it's gonna be,
ballpark figure here to go by.
Yeah,
And it's
we've got a
built into
number
the
to go
budget.
by here. If we can come up with one less, naturally we'll go
If
with
one
that.
comes in for 150,000, we probably won't. go for
Probably
it.
wouldn't go that way. But it's whatever y'all want to
So we
prefer.
can
We
go
can
with this
either
one,
way.
and if it's less, we'll take it.
Okay. Is that a motion?
Yes.
We got a motion to proceed with the one sand filter for the fiscal year 2020. And we have a second.
I'll second that.
We got a second, so all in favor?
All right,
Okay. And there again, I mentioned something about the Carl Brown water analysis report. And it's in there on my desk if anybody wants to sit down and go through it for about a week. But anyway, Carl is going to be here. He's done this analysis for us. And he'll be here next meeting, which is
Is that the 23rd?
23rd, I believe is right. So this is a study that he's, and about our water and sewer rates. So anyway, that's something that we're going to be looking at the next meeting, and he's going to give us his thoughts on it. So, which are never good.
We're trying to keep you down. Carl loves figures and loves to talk, and so we're trying to encourage him to keep it to 10 or 15 minutes.
He asked for 45, I believe.
I'm like, no,
So-
Carl, I said, you'll lose us
Yeah.
real quick,
So-
because it's complicated stuff.
But if anybody wants to study those rates, they're welcome to come by and take a look at them. I've got a notebook in there, and I've had the honor to read them and study them, and Peggy's went through them. I don't know if you looked at them, but anyway, you're welcome to look at them. And there is some good information in it. So, and I learned of the bonds and stuff through the study and the analysis, and Peggy, that where we were at, which was good information that we needed. The brick pavers, I visited with Wayne Mallow, and he's going to do the work. And of course, some of our guys will assist him, but he's looking to start these pavers by the end of July, 1st of August. So we can get all of our brick pavers in, and of course we'll probably be pulling pavers out and putting new ones in a year from now, but if we can get a lot of them done now, that is what we're shooting for, the end of this month. And I think there were several orders come in this week, wasn't there,
Yeah.
Susan? So,
In the last 2 or 3 days, we've had 10.
so if you know of anybody or somebody in your immediate family, get them down here, and let's get as many of them made now, because it'll be easier to install as we're doing it. So
Yeah, for sure.
I made arrangements for the 16th of July on the card reader out at the airport. I called them up this morning, and then I asked them if they could be down the 16th, or no, not come down. We could visit with a tech support person on the phone the 16th. And they said that they could, they said they'd like to have 2 days. So they didn't want us doing it on a Friday in case there was an issue, but they said they could typically like to do it Monday through Thursday. And that way if there was an issue, they didn't have to go through a weekend. But anyway, they'll be down, or we'll start at the 16th, our electric guys, and they'll be available for tech support over the phone. And we'll get that done next week, so. And then I visited with Jimmy Johnson Electric Department, and we've got some pretty serious electrical issue, overhead lines and stuff, and I wasn't aware of it until I started looking at some brush and stuff overhanging streets, and started looking at some of our lines, and in particular on Valley Street, which would be northeast 3rd Avenue. And it actually looks like there's been a storm damage in the years past, and it was fixed, but it never was finished up, you know. But anyway, I talked to Jimmy, and I told him that, you know, I'd like to get an order together of poles from one end of it to the other and put all new. It's a secondary line, and it's all fed with copper. And that copper, when it gets age on it, you just touch it and it snaps. So it's a big concern. But anyway, he's getting poles and new aluminum lines and transformers. He's making sure he's got everything, and that's a project we're going to do with him.
So was that the problem, that was repaired with copper? Or was
No,
the copper the
no.
original line and it's just work hardened now and it's
just
brittle?
you're familiar with the number 6 copper. That's
Yeah.
what that whole street is, and I'm sorry to say that the other one over on Elm Street is number 6 or number 8 copper, which is even smaller. So but anyway, we got to start somewhere. But Jim is going to start. Well, he's in the process of getting poles and the wire right now, and our electrical crew, and then if we have to throw some of the other departments in with them, that'll be an electrical project we're gonna tackle this year, and hopefully we can address some other issues. You know, maybe a project like that each year until we get some of them cleaned up. So, and that's a big project, really. I think. That's all I have. Anybody else got anything? And we don't have anything for closed, so. Look at Art smile. He's going to go
It works for me. 11 o'clock,
11 o'clock.
you can bring the whole club if you want.
Do we have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion.
All right. Keith, do we have a second?
I'll second that.
We got 3 seconds. That was easy.
What street was your electrical work on again?
Pardon?
What street was your electrical work?
That would be Valley.
Valley.
Yeah. And that, yeah, that.
That you say that northeast third? Is
Yes.
that what that is? Then
No, actually, that's northeast. Yes, it is. Northeast third.
The
Yeah.
Elm is the old Sixth
That's
Avenue.
northeast, yeah. That's 6th.
That's right up there by mine.
Yeah. And that's the one we're gonna look at next.
Okay, I just soon not have any more snapping. Don't warrant my yard. See you in the morning.
Okay.